Hey everyone. Just getting my stuff together. Invited our guests to join us. Uh,
While you're trying to do this, the guy that started Pinterest, and God, this must have been, I don't know, 16 years ago, maybe longer. He was 17 years old at that time.
17.
Yep. And it was going pretty well. They didn't do ads at that time. You could actually go on and, not spit, but you could go on and basically promote your product or whatever you were selling. They were stricter about that then, what you could sell on Pinterest or what you could advertise, like how they do recipes and uh, interior design, things like that. But if like I used to sell wedding dresses and I was always on there and people would contact me. So, I didn't have to have an ad, but that was a long time ago. So I can't imagine how old would they be now? 37? But I think it was a genius that he did this.
Yeah. Does anybody use Pinterest? Do you use Pinterest
I
now?
used
Anybody
to,
else?
and it's a search engine, and I really should go back to it because there is a lot of people use it and they do very well with it.
In real estate?
Yeah, everywhere in real estate because you can put your houses on there and they will come to your website and not your website whatever and then you can have them go. Actually, I'm gonna take that back. If like let's take a recipe because like I said I don't use it right now, but if somebody puts a recipe and like you search it and you come up with a recipe, it'll like you click on it and it'll go to their website and it'll say follow me and they talk about their whole website and you have to dig for the recipe. So I think it's underutilized.
Yeah, I just need to go in there and from a user standpoint, because I it's been so long since I've even been on there. I think I went on there actually, few when I switched brokerages, so less than a year ago, but I didn't really do anything other than make sure my headshot and everything was correct and the right information and everything. But
Yeah, I
um,
mean, years ago when I would sell vintage, people would see it and come and contact me, and that was years ago. So I did what I did as a stupid thing is I took everything off of it. I should have just hit it, but I didn't know enough then. But it was a totally different venue. But I used to have thousands of people on there.
Huh. Well, that's why we're here, I guess, so we could all learn about it and get back on it and start maybe making some money off of it. So I see Favor is here. I modded you up first, so hopefully I'm looking at my club deck on the computer, but I think you're first after me. I'll mod a few more people, can help a little bit, but this is going to be nice today. I can kind of listen and moderate and not have to talk all the time. So here, let me moderate. I'll moderate a few more people. Donna, Denise, Natalka. Mia, what's that? One, two, three, four, five, six. That's good. Six is good, or seven, whatever it is. Um, and I'll reset the room and then we'll get started. What's up, Favor? You had a room before this?
Yeah, I did. I was just helping people. I actually used my AI. My AI is called Derek, Dexter. I'm sorry, I was trying to say I use Derek. It's called Dexter, and he's a data analyst. So I was trying to like break it down and tell him how I was able to get a CSV file into a competitive strategy for a client.
Nice. Is he a serial killer?
Hopefully
I
not.
just I just started watching that show. All right, I'll reset the room and then we'll get going here. You're in the real estate No, no, you're not in the real estate all day house. You are in the Google for real estate house. Click the house above to join if you haven't already. We're here every Wednesday, 9 to 10 a.m. I'm Derek Bixler, born and raised in South Central Pennsylvania, single dad of three, commercial and residential real estate agent of 17 years at this point, outdoor adventure sportsman, and Google marketing geek. In this room, we talk about how to dominate Google local search and get business from our Google business profiles and Google ads, as well as discuss other search type things like today talking about Pinterest, or other Google tools that aren't marketing things like email, workspace, AI, maps, browser plugins, sheets, forms, yada yada, list goes on. So replays are available for 7 days on Clubhouse. I will delete last week's today. This will be available till next week. And the link above at the top, you can access all the replays at any time. For now, at some point they might be gated or something, but for now you can find them all up there. If you subscribe to my email list, you will also get an email sending it right to your inbox as well in case you missed the room. Please come up on stage. I kind of well, today I'll be watching who comes in the room and stuff. Usually I don't pay attention and I need help from the moderators to help bring people up. But today I will be inviting everybody that walks in the room because Favor will be talking and I can watch that stuff. But you are encouraged to come up to stage, interact, ask questions, interject, stop, say, hey, I have a question about that. Or if you have done something or have an experience or an expertise in something, please also chime in and give that too. We like to hear everybody give some input if they have it. And if you're in a different business from real estate, and Favor works with all kinds of businesses, he'll probably relate it to real estate today. But in general, his room or any rooms that I do, anything that you hear, even if you're not in the real estate business, most things can be translated and will apply for other types of businesses too. So if you hear something and you have a side business, you could use it for that. Or if you know somebody that does something else, it could help them as well. So share the room to those types of people too. Not only real estate, we do talk a lot about real estate, but will apply to other people. So let's get into it. Today we'll be talking about Pinterest marketing. And yeah, Pinterest marketing, I put in the title SEO AMA. That's more of a like if we have time at the end. So I'm going to let Favor kind of take over after I do my thing, and then he'll do the Pinterest stuff. And then if we're to the end and have some time left, we can just have AMA Pinterest, obviously, but also Favors my SEO dude for more like website stuff, and any kind of SEO really. But if you want to ask questions, and obviously I do SEO also, so AMA SEO if we have time at the end. You are encouraged to put your review link in the chat, like you will see some of us have done. I need a review. I haven't gotten one for a while. I'm buttering up some past settlements right now before I ask them. So if anybody wants to give me a review, I would be very appreciative. And if you send me a,
I would love to, but they don't publish mine to you. I've tried.
yeah, we've given up between you and me, I guess. But yeah, if anybody send me a screenshot and I will reciprocate. Just send me a screenshot and then that's a reminder and a guilt trip to also reciprocate. Yeah, and you're encouraged to. So I don't see that many in there. I do manage a lot of people's profiles and I see reviews come in after these rooms. So don't hesitate. And if you give a review, send them a screenshot. Then again, they're guilted into giving you one. Encourage that for sure. And I am pretty pleased. Somebody give me a review. I'm going to see if I can get at least one today, because that's part of my weekly practice, and it's been a few weeks, I think, since I've gotten one. But anyway, review links are encouraged in the chat. You're welcome to do that. Next week's room will be live audit part 2. Last week we started a audit of Martha Schmecker's real estate in Charlotte, Waxhaw. What's that? South Carolina? Charlotte? Is that South Carolina? I guess. But Martha will be doing part 2 of the audit of her Google business profile next week. And I think news. I guess I'll say what my news is. It is Google News, not Pinterest News. And then after this, Favor will take it away. Local services ads. There are 2 changes coming. So if you're running local services ads, there's 2 fairly major changes coming. I'm editing a video as we speak to tell what those are, but I'll tell you all right here now. Also, automatic they're introducing an automatic crediting system, which basically means the manual disputing of leads is going to go away. So right now, if you got a rental call and you have rentals turned off, or if somebody calls for something outside of the geographic area that you have defined that you want to get leads from, you can click the three little dots on the lead, click dispute, and then it asks you a bunch of reasons: job not served, out of area, sales, spam call, bot call. I think there's 6 or 7 reasons there that you can select. Well, right now you can select. So that's going away in favor of the AI. Basically, is just going to figure out if you get credit or it's a bad lead or not. You will not anymore be able to manually dispute a lead. They say it will result in more overall ad credits being given. So they're saying that whatever the average is that they credit back to people now, this new system is made in such a way that it should be giving everybody as much or more credits back. I don't buy it really. I'm skeptical on this. I want control and I want to be able to fight it. I want to. So is what it is, though. You can't really do anything about it. So automatic crediting system, the disputing is going away. And the email also said uh, specifically job not served and location not served, those two disputable reasons are going away. So the way I read that is the AI is now going to decide out of those, when you click dispute, it gives you the 7 reasons. The AI is going to determine on its own if it's a good lead, bad lead, whatever it determines there. But those two criteria will not be two criteria that the AI uses to be a disputable lead or to give an ad credit. So the job not served and the out of location, which sucks for sure because we all in our industry, we get lots of those rental calls that we definitely don't want to be paying for. So we'll see how this shakes out and go from there, I guess. Hopefully it helps and actually does bring costs down or get us more leads for cheaper. And then the second thing that's changing in local services ads is the local services ads are going to start appearing and showing on the Google Maps app. So if somebody goes to their Google Maps app specifically and searches for realtor near me or plumber near me or any of the local services ads types, the local services ads will now start showing in there with the other Google business profile results. Exactly how it will look, I don't know. I haven't seen it. They didn't provide any pictures. And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, it is starting on Apple on iOS first, I think, and then it'll go out to other things. If I'm remembering correctly, don't quote me on that. But the email definitely said that local services ads will start showing on Google Maps app. Whether that's good or bad, I look at it as bad because I rank well organically. So if somebody goes to the Google Maps app, the only results they're going to show people are Google business profiles, and I'm going to be at the top of that heap already now. So I would potentially get the call without paying anything. Now, if local services ads are showing in there, I'm going to be demoted under whoever else is in the 2 or 3 pack that they're showing, and maybe my own, and then maybe I pay for a lead that I would have gotten for free before. So I'm not, for people whose Google business profiles suck and don't rank, that's probably a good thing. But for people who do rank well, I don't know if it's such a good thing. But again, all these changes, you just kind of hope that it results in more leads, more money. But we'll see what happens. So 2 pretty major things happening in local services ads. And now at quarter past, I was trying to get my crap done by quarter past, and I beat it by a minute. So I'll shut up now unless anybody has any questions about those 2 things.
Yes,
No,
I
Yes,
Derek,
do.
but
no.
I did want to just mention, because I wanted to clear up any misconceptions, that Charlotte is in North Carolina.
I knew it was going to be not whatever I said.
We got it now.
Okay,
We're good.
question. If we are like high in, you know, uh, our numbers on maps, is that going to help us? If we do a lot of reviews of other places, will that help us?
Uh, no, giving reviews is you as a person, a local guide, and it does not help your Google business profile at all.
Bummer.
Mia, you should know this by now. You've been following me for a long
Yeah, I
time.
know, but I thought maybe something changed. That's all. Yeah.
No, that would be nice. That would be easy to game. We could all just go rank better by giving reviews. Yeah. Any other questions, follow-ups to any of that? local services ad stuff?
Hey Derek, this is Joie in DC. Question, I don't know if I missed this, but in the past when I disputed local services ads, job type like rentals or whatever, um, I think they were listening to the audio. And if I quickly say I don't do rentals, then it was easy. I got that refunded. Do you think the AI is doing that? Like listening part?
Yes, yeah, for sure. The recording, and actually a human cannot access it at all. So if you went to like a help system to try to, if they did not approve your dispute and you went to like the help system to argue it and get it credited, currently that human would not be able to listen to it. So currently it's already only an AI that listens to it. Um, and like you said, if you're clear with your language, usually it does not charge you to begin with. And if it does wrongly, then usually it's approved pretty quick. But the rental in specific, like you heard me say, is apparently going away as a thing. So even if you're clear with the rental language, it sounds to me like you're going to get charged for that lead anyway, maybe, or maybe not, because it will fall under some other crappy lead criteria that they have in their algorithm. I don't know.
I know if you talk too long to the rental that you don't do, they'll charge you.
Yeah, I'm a real D with rentals, and I feel bad, but like I have to do it, or else I'm gonna pay $50. So I'm just like, and they all say, do you know somebody? And if you even go down that path of like, yeah, I could send you a rental guy, you're paying for that lead probably. So I'm sorry, I can't help. I'm sorry, I can't help. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Uh, but is what it is, I guess. So, all right, I'll stop yapping and I'll turn it over to Favor. Sorry, Favor, to make you sit here and listen to me yap for 10 minutes, but I'll turn it over to you for Pinterest marketing, and however you want to take it, you can take it.
Thank you,
And
Derek. And
yeah, and you can introduce yourself or whatever. I did not plan out an introduction for you.
no worries. Thank you so much for having me here. And it's a pleasure connecting with you all. Good morning from Houston, Texas. My name is Favour Obasi-ike, and I'm the founder at Work and Play Entertainment, where we offer and build AI plus traditional operating systems that last long with search engine optimization for your business. By consulting services to business leaders, to entrepreneurs, to creative professionals who are looking for assistance, who are seeking assistance specifically in reaching annual revenue goals through development of customized strategies and operational systems. And what we've been doing for more than 10 years of industry experience, not just myself, but with my team as well, we've been able to help businesses achieve high performance ranking with SEO, including heat mapping. A lot of websites don't have heat maps on their websites. And a heat map, if you look at the weather channel or if you just look at your weather app, you'll know like the red zone is a hot zone, the cold zone is a blue zone. You need to have that on your website too. Those are things that we include because we need to know where people are going, how people are clicking, where they're going, and why. So we're able to really understand the behavior of your consumer audience from a general perspective. And we also go deeper into zip code marketing. Zip code marketing is the fun part because, especially for real estate, I know that with real estate, everything is boiling down to the zip code. So we go deeper into zip code analysis. We help you understand which zip codes do best, which zip code is better, why, how long does it take for someone to drive from point A to B? Do their household have kids? Are they empty? Are they renting? Do they have 401ks? Do they have, how old are the kids? All those questions, we get to answer that when we build it out with Pinterest, because I've been doing podcasting for about 5 years now. This is the fifth year by August 12th. And one of the reasons why I really got into podcasting and even got into Clubhouse, that's why I'm on Clubhouse, because I wanted to, bring podcasting as an extension here, is because I realized a lot of people are constantly posting content online on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, which is X now, Threads, Snapchat, Google Posts, Pinterest, YouTube, but completely forget to work on their website, completely forget to create pages for their website, completely forget to, pretty much take an inventory of their intellectual property. So we as Work and Play Entertainment help you protect, earn, and scale your business with social media and search engine best practices. And why we do that is because we've realized that as we're getting closer into this tech digital, we're in a digital age, it's getting more artificial intelligence related. You need to own your property online. And for everyone who has an Instagram account, I always tell you to do a test. Just do a litmus test. Just do a quick test on yourself, on your own. Just audit yourself and just check this out. This might shock you if you've never thought about it this way. If you look at your Instagram account right now, just go to your Instagram account. Just everybody go to your Instagram account and then go to your profile. When you go to your profile, you're going to see your picture, you're going to see your, your text, all the good stuff. Now go to the top three numbers on the top. It says posts, following, and followers, right? Or followers and following. Now, if you look at the number of posts that you have, that is equivalent to the number of real estate you've given Instagram.com. So you've made 500 posts. That means you've created 500 pages for Instagram.com. So if you don't have 500 pages, let's scale it down to 50. If you don't have 50 pages on your website, but you have 50 posts on Instagram, 50 posts on LinkedIn, 50 posts, and you're doing this consistently year after year. But if I look at your website and I audit your website on our first call, and you don't have up to 50 pages, then that rings a big bell, because it tells me that yes, you're interested in connecting with people, but you're not interested in real estate digitally. And this is a real estate room, so I'm sure it will resonate 100% with you. I treat websites like land. Like land has property, property has value, value is an asset, assets appreciate over time, right? When you think about your, depreciation assets and you start calculating all those inventories, you start to really make sense. If you're paying for a domain every year or every 2 3 years, that's an expense, right? That's a tax write-off, that's a business expense. So if you're paying for a domain every year and you're not adding value to your domain on a yearly basis, it's like having a large credit file history and you're not using it at all. If you have 15 years of credit history, right, it means you have 15 years of track recording, right? Compared to somebody who just showed up with 5 months of credit history, the lenders are going to give it to the 15-year person, not the 5-month person, right? So why am I bringing these examples? Is because I want to make this very understanding and very relatable. Because when we think about big words like SEO, Pinterest, we are like, oh, this is a big word. I don't really know what it is. I want to demystify that. I want to simplify that. Because when you think about your business in the long run, you have to ask yourself, how much time am I spending online? If you go to your screen time right now, if you're on iOS, if you're on Android, if you check, whatever platform you use, check and see. Like if when I look at my screen time, I know where I'm spending my time on a weekly basis. If you're spending time on TikTok, LinkedIn, just do a self audit. Just like we're getting to the end of June. Ask yourself, when was the last time I did something new for the first time? We have websites that are packed up. I'm sure if you look at your website, and it's alarming. I'm going to give you guys some stats soon. It's alarming that we're in 2024 in June, and some websites are still showing copyright 2023, meaning that you've never gone to your website, you've never hit the publish button again. You probably paid someone to do your website and never touched it again. It happens. We've built websites for medical centers, for companies, for businesses. We've optimized them, and those are some things that we look at. A simple thing like an FAQ page is not on your website. Why? So I'm not here to say like what you've done and what you've not done. I just want to kind of rhetorically help you understand where we are going, especially with artificial intelligence and where we're going with media, right? Apple just did their keynote, right? Recently, we know what that's doing. Google just partnered up with Reddit. You don't know what that's going to do for your business, right? Pinterest has a pixel called Pixie, Pixie, right? I work with staff at Pinterest. So whenever we work with clients, we always give their Pinterest IDs so that for submission. And we want to make sure that your Pinterest is doing the right thing, because Pinterest contributes to about 80% of what you see on Google Images. So if you have a website, why I'm really emphasizing on website is because that's your real estate. That's your digital real estate. That's where you have your homepage, your about page. Some people say, oh yeah, I don't need a website. I'll just peg on this website. I'll just shack on this website and then everything will be fine. It won't be fine, because what happens if that platform goes down? Big websites like Wedding Wire, Wikipedia, the Wedding Knot, Yelp. The reason why Yellow Pages, the reason why these pages are so big is because everybody created their own page on that domain. So because everybody is creating pages on that domain is driving traffic. That's why social media is free. Facebook is free. Instagram is free. TikTok is free. But you're paying with your time, you're paying with your energy, you're paying with your swipes, right? And then eventually you pay for something at some point because you're interested in that thing. So Pinterest, right? If you take off the P, it means interest. So what are people with the P, go back to the P, what are people interested in you for? Why are they interested in you? And if they're interested in you, what do you have to offer? Mm.
Because you can help them. I mean, they're interested because they're looking for something you have. And so they're interested in themselves, but it's not you, it's what you offer, how you can help them.
I love that, Mia. Exactly. How you can help them. That's the biggest thing. Because on Pinterest, when you go on Pinterest, people are going there to find a solution. Let me tell you the stat I was going to mention earlier. It's so alarming. And you guys can go research and please let me know if you find this too. There are over 1.9 billion websites in the world. By June 2024, 82% of these 1.9 billion websites haven't been updated in the last 6 months. What does that mean? It means that we are spending time on other social platforms, other websites. Yes, it's Instagram. Yes, it's Facebook. Yes, they're apps, but they're websites first. Yes, we're on Clubhouse. It's a website too, right? It's a domain. There's traffic. There's analytics. There's data, right? I think somebody said on LinkedIn, I saw this 10 years ago and it makes sense now. Data is the new oil, right? It's a new oil. So if your oil is stuck, if your oil is hard, if your oil is not is not processing, if it's not refining, then what are we doing? I really want us to really wake up and really see like this picture, because we have beautiful buildings. We have beautiful real estate buildings. I love houses. I love traveling. I love looking at homes. The home I'm in right now, I used my own research, like based on zip code analysis to figure out which home I want to be in, because I did zip code marketing. I was like, oh, I like this zip code because it has this, and then boom, right? You call forward what you see. So when you look at it from your picture, when you look at it from your Pinterest, people wonder, why is Pinterest so good? But why is it also so underrated? Because people don't know that Pinterest comprises of a taste graph. Pinterest has interests and keywords. So I'll type something on Pinterest to find something I'm interested in. It's like the simple binary code, 0 and 1. And I have this circle formula. If you check my LinkedIn, check my featured post, it has a keyword strategy there. If you scroll through the carousel, you'll see a slide that talks about a cycle. That cycle is search, find, click, save. I'll say that again. Search, find, click, save. When someone searches for something, they're looking for something to be found. They're not just searching aimlessly. They're looking for something, right? And then when they find that thing, they're like, oh, aha, bingo. All right, I'm gonna save this. Like, let me click here to be sure it's really what I'm looking for, right? And then when they click on it, they're like, okay, this does make sense. Let me save this article. Let me save this link. Let me bookmark it. Let me come back later. What you've just done is you've performed a click rate, right? When you think about emails, click rates and open rates, you've just performed a click rate on web. Yes, open rates and click rates refer to emails, but they also refer to search engines, right? Because that's why we put heat maps on your website. so that you can own your intellectual property. You know, okay, if I have a homepage, about page, contact page, gallery page, and I know that people don't touch on the gallery, then why am I spending, real estate on that gallery tab when I could move that and put something there and put maybe consulting, or maybe put privacy policy, or maybe put coaching, or maybe put listing, whatever it is, right? So we're able to look at that on a quarter over quarter basis, and that helps you understand what happens for your business, right? We all use pictures, whether it's AI or it's done on Canva or it's done on Adobe or whatever we use that platform well. So if you want to be on Pinterest, your goal on Pinterest is to educate. It's your Yes, you want to sell, yes, you want to show your expertise, but you're going there to educate, because when you educate someone, you edify the person, right? So if someone doesn't know about you, they'll find out about you by what you tell them, right? And it can happen to anyone, right? According to Pinterest business, right, there 97% of searches are unbranded. So people don't go on Pinterest to look for Nike shoes or for Adidas shoes. They'll go to Google for that. They'll go to Google to search for Nike shoes, for Adidas shoes, right? They'll go to Pinterest to search for running shoes, for jogging shoes. So your search starts to change, right? Now let me use a real estate example. If I'm on Google, I'm looking for, let's say commercial property near me, right? Or residential property near me, or near my zip code, or near my state, or near my city, or near, my radius, right? You're going to get a result from Zillow, from HR, from wherever, right? When you go on Pinterest, people are going to look for yellow house on a blue on a beach side. They're going to look for um houses by the woods. They're going to look for um houses on the mountain, on a hill. They're looking for, suburban homes, right? Those searches are different. They're so different. Like, yes, they're in your city, but they're different. So when you go to Pinterest, you're not going there with, oh, I want everybody to look for me because I sell homes. I'm going there because I love yellow houses. I love white homes. I love glass doors. I love tiles. I love, blue tiles. I love, shower curtains. I love chandeliers that look like this. Like, you're showing people what you want them to see. On Meta, Facebook, Instagram, they call them lookalikes, right? We look alike. Like, what we do, we kind of do it the same way, right? What are the lookalike audiences? That's what, Facebook calls it. On Pinterest, they're actalikes. That's what they call them, actalikes. What do we do? How do we search? There's a way people search on Pinterest, and you can try this out too. It's called the ABC method. Try it on Google too, or even YouTube. Any search bar you're on, use the ABC method. So type in real estate A, real estate B, real estate C, or homes A, homes B, homes C. When you start seeing those words after the seed keyword, you start to realize that people are searching beyond your search bracket, because people search in long form, not in short form. So start off with what people would search for as a focus key phrase, and then bring that key phrase into an actual matching phrase. So when you come to Pinterest, you're marketing your business based on what people want to do, based on how people act, right? Now, there's a website that I use to pretty much go into Pinterest and see the top pins, the top saves, the top things, right? I use a website to do that, and I'm going to use it today. And I'm going to do some practical examples with us, because I just don't want to be talking. I want to hear from you what questions you have, because I would love to be able to help. That's my goal, to help today at whatever capacity. Now, there's a platform. Before we even got into the room today, I already said this on my tab. And I said, okay, I'm going to come into this room, and I'm going to give you one example, and then that will open up everything. Now, on this platform, I typed in the top pin. When I type in real estate, because it's concerning real estate, right? I typed in real estate. And please, as you're listening to this, think about your other social media platforms. and see what you can do on those platforms to come to Pinterest, because I'm heading somewhere with this. When you type in real estate, right, on Pinterest, you're going to see all kinds of things. Now, I found the top commented, because on Pinterest, there are two things. There's always two things on Pinterest. I love it. It's interest and keywords, right? Now, when you break down interest and keywords, Pinterest has two metrics that are very important for your pin to survive. And when I say survive, it's because there's a pool of pins on a daily basis. So why would your pin do better than the other person's pin? Right? That's usually the question. How do I make my pin rank? Why is this pin showing up a year later, 5 years later? The reason why is because you went to your website to update your website. And when you updated your website, you update the algorithm. When you update the algorithm, you send a signal to Pinterest that, hey, this published post that was published in 2015 has been published in 2024 or republished in 2024. So you send a signal to Pinterest. Pinterest sends the signal to Google. That's why you still show up on Pinterest, and people ask, oh, why is this pin showing up 10 years later? That's because whoever is managing that website is managing it from a back end standpoint. That's why you're seeing a post 10 years later show up for the first time on your feed a year later, or 2 years later, or 10 years later. So it's not really magic or rocket science. It's just strategy. Because if we know, okay, this is June, we're getting to July 4th. Okay, are people buying homes? Are they selling? You already know the market. I probably don't have a clue, but you are experts in that. But how I come in to help is help you bridge the gap. I help you know, okay, if people are looking for yellow houses or green houses or burgundy or tile floors or glass ceilings, whatever it is, I'll be able to know where those are. That's why big companies like Wayfair or Amazon or Apple, they run ads on Pinterest, because there are four types of media. There are four types of media, and most of us only use two. And sometimes we interchange between two, but there are four. The first one is owned media. Owned media, and that is that's a Pinterest 101. Whenever you connect your website to Pinterest, they even tell you, there's a disclaimer they'll tell you in the Pinterest business account folder. They'll tell you everything that you post on Pinterest from your business account is going to give you 100% credit. What does that mean? If I post somebody else's post, which, I mean, you shouldn't do that ethically, but if you post somebody else's post on your Pinterest and you kind of claim it as yours, quote unquote, then that's a disservice to your account. But Pinterest will not ding you for that, because you're using that as a mood board. So you'll be able to now put it there, and that will allow people to know, okay, this is not really your post, but you're talking about something. Guess what? The person that gets 100% credit of that media file is you, not the person you're referring to. Now, how that person can get that shared content is when you tag them. Now on Pinterest, before I even go any further, put a 1 in the chat if you use Pinterest to search. I wanna head somewhere with this, because this is gonna help my next point. If you're in the room and use Pinterest to search, put a 1 in the chat. And if you don't, put a 2, because I also want to see like who does, who doesn't. Okay, Peggy has a 1, Derek has a 2, Shai has a 1, Keith 2. Okay, so I see a lot of 1s and 2s. Okay, I knew it's going to be like this. I knew it was going to be very like 50-50. Yeah, because Pinterest is so untapped, and it's also like, what are we doing here? So I want to really help you with this. Okay, so they're kind of like more 2s than 1s. Okay, so I want to help you with this. On Pinterest, right, there are two things that make your pin survive across the board. Two things. Yeah, great picture, great quality, great SEO, great everything. Boom, bap. Yeah. Two things. First thing is the number of saves. I think we all know that, because even on Instagram, we know that, saves are important. But think about this. This is why I'm telling you intellectual property is so important. And you should know this too. On Instagram, you have 100, let me go back to 50. You have 50 posts on Instagram. That's 50 50 posts. That's Instagram.com/p/your unique identifier number, right? Or that's what you're going to get, a special character. Imagine if you copy your reel, you know how you can share a reel or you share a picture. That link, anytime you're sharing something on someone's DM, or you're sharing a reel, or you're sharing an image, you're sharing a post, that's a link. Because if that link is broken, or that is archived or deleted, you can't find that link. So it's a link. Yes, it's an app, but it's primarily a link. Clubhouse, if you want to join this room, I'll have to share with you the link. So we can't deny this. If you send an email, click here. What's there? A link. So if we think about these two things, we will save a lot of time, money, and energy. The first thing is saves. Pinterest allows you to see what someone saved on their pin. So if I have this nice flowery vase and it looks really pretty, it looks really nice, and I save it to my board and I call it my inspo for my new home, right? Now, the person that says my inspo for my new home, you don't know who that person is, but you know that that person is looking for a new home. You're a realtor, you don't know where that person is located. How can I figure out where this person is located? Running paid ads. So, owned media gives you access to paid media. I don't think anybody in here is going to run an ad on content they don't own. I don't think anyone will do that, right? You have to own your content because you're going to spend money on it. So, if I'm going to spend money on my content, it means I want my content to yield results, right? So if I want to spend time, money, and energy to make sure that whoever is seeing my content can see it accurately, then I need to position myself in a place that people can find me. Going back to that circle of life, right? When it comes to the search engine, search, find, click, save, right? So now save is the most important thing because when someone saves your pin, it means that there's value. On Pinterest, I can know what you saved it on. On Instagram, if you have 1,000 saves, there's no way I can reach. I don't even know who their 1,000 people are to know what they saved their board as or what they saved their that post as. So if you guys have realized this, I'm kind of giving you like a switch on and off so you can see what I'm saying between Pinterest and Instagram. Because Instagram, I can save your Instagram right now. I can say, I'm going to save this. I'm going to save this. You'll save it to your board because you're going to create a board on your Instagram, right? But I'll never know what that name is unless you tell me. And I can't even ask you because I don't even know if it's you in the first place. So Instagram knows that when you send a LinkedIn newsletter to your LinkedIn community, everybody gets that LinkedIn email. But you, the person that sent that LinkedIn newsletter from LinkedIn, doesn't have access to that person's email address. LinkedIn does. So who owns the property? LinkedIn, right? So property acquisition is big. Yes, post away. Yes, go on third party sites. Actually do that and leverage for equity. Because if you're on HR, if you're on Zillow, if you're on a listing site, have a website and then bring that site to your site. So if somebody wants to work with you as a business, don't send them to that person's site because when they send them there, that's a red ocean. Anything can happen, right? But when you send them to your site, that's yours. That's why when Facebook and YouTube say they don't like it when people click and you click outside, it's because they want you to stay inside. That's why when you read news articles on Facebook, you're reading it from the Facebook network, right? You're not going out to your Safari or to your Chrome. It's within the network. When you click on LinkedIn or you click on X and you're reading an article, just look at the top of your page. You'll notice that you're still on LinkedIn, right? Till you hit that X button because they want you to stay on their property. So point is, the longer someone stays on your property, the more data you can acquire, right? So, how do we acquire more data? By showing up on platforms like Pinterest. Because if I talk about Pinterest, then I know that my pin's on Pinterest for a reason. So, I'll give an example. If somebody saves my pin, if I have 10, if let's say I have 100,000 impressions, and then I have 100 likes, and then I have 10 saves, those 10 saves, I'm going to go to those 10 saves and find out what did those 10 people say? Why did they even save it in the first place? And the good thing about Pinterest, people don't really know this, but as a business on Pinterest, you can send a DM. You can literally have a B2B conversation. I did that with my company, Work and Play Entertainment. I had a conversation with this company called Co-Schedule. And this was back in 2020 when everyone was talking about the best time to post, the best time to post, the best time to post. And I asked a question. It was a very honest question. I asked on Pinterest from a business to business standpoint. I think I got my answer a year later. I asked Co-Schedule. It's if you go to Co-Schedule, you guys can check. It's a very reputable company. I asked them. I said, "Hey, um, nice post. This is great because on Pinterest there's something called a code, a creator code. You cannot say anything vulgar. You cannot put anything that is negative. Even during COVID, you would never see an ad about pandemic on Pinterest. It's positive, period. Right. So when you're going there, people are going there with with a sentimental value of happiness. People are already happy when they're on Pinterest, right? So I'm happy because I'm planning. I'm planning a wedding. I'm planning an event. I'm planning my house. I'm planning something, right? When you're in planning mode, you're in happy mode. You're not planning when you're sad, right? You want to, most times you're happy. So when you think about the planning, there's a perspective in it, right? And that perspective is where your pins show up. So if someone's saving a pin, it means, oh, this is actually nice. I'll come back and save it for later, right? So if I'm saving this pin, it means I'm coming back. Now, if I'm coming back, it means that I'm probably not ready now. You might not be ready to work with me today, but you might be in a month. You might be in 3 months. You might be by Christmas. You might be by January, right? So how do you keep that person staying within your property? By having an email list, right? That's where the email community comes from. Because if you have a link and you know what you did with this link, you put this link, a link is a URL. And what is a URL? A URL is a uniform resource locator. That's what URL stands for. So if you have a location, right? We talk about location, 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 right? If your location is based in this city or in this state, what's the resource in that city that will help me become the person to come there or go there, right? So if I'm building real estate value, then whatever people are seeing is going to compromise of three things: text, audio, and video. Text, audio, and video. That's why with owned media, I'm heavy on podcasts because you can go audio mode or video mode. You can end up on YouTube, you can end up on Reddit, you can end up on Apple, on Spotify at the same time without lifting a finger twice. You lift it, you hit it, hit publish, boom, it goes everywhere if you've set up your operational system correctly, right? Now, when you think about saves, people will save your content because they want to come back later. Now, the next thing that is important is comments, right? On Pinterest, it's comments. So if you have a Pinterest business account, you want to have comments, because when I commented on CoSchedule's Pinterest post, they had a pin. They were talking about the best time to schedule. It looked so beautiful. And the question I asked them was, does this thing have a time zone? Does this post have a time zone? Because yeah, the best time to post is 12 p.m. But is it Pacific? Is it Mountain? Is it Eastern? Is it Central? What are we talking? I didn't know. And then they responded back and they were like, yeah, it's based on your preference. That's why we left it open. And that's how they responded. But that was a business conversation I had with CoSchedule. We've all seen how companies talk to each other, Apple and Samsung. We've seen that before. We've seen Popeyes and Chick-fil-A. We've seen these businesses talk to each other. That's what happens on Pinterest, right? Because you're showing up as a business, your ethics, your value, it shows up. With comments, the more comments you have on your Pinterest, this is a gem that if you try it out, you will see so much good things, right? If you have comments on your Pinterest, because it's hard to even get a comment on Pinterest, talk less of a follow on Pinterest. For you to get a comment on Pinterest, it means that you really hit a nerve. You really went somewhere. You really said something that really made that person spend time to type. Because people don't type on Pinterest, people swipe. So if people are swiping, it means that they're swiping across. Like for me, with my podcast, I actually did a study. I have a client, she's in Sweden, right? And she came to me, she met me in March, and she was like, she found me on LinkedIn and she said, hey, I need help with, just building my LinkedIn brand. I said, okay, let's apply some SEO. She had 0 subscribers. She had, I think, less than 1,000 followers on LinkedIn. And 3 months into it, I said, you know what? Halfway through, I said, you know what? Let's bring you to Pinterest because you've never been there. Let's just plug you in. I plugged her into, and how I did was I featured her on my podcast to talk, because she talks about entrepreneurship, business leadership. How do you focus on mindset and healing? And we did an episode. That episode, till today, it's still earning media. That's another type of media I want to talk about. You still earn media after spending money on paid media. I was doing research because I love research. I realized that the headquarters of Spotify is in Sweden, is in Stockholm, Sweden. So I was like, huh. Okay, bingo. So she's in Sweden and she has an audience, and I'm like, I've never been to Sweden, so I'm going based off data. So I say, okay, you know what, we're going to reach out to everyone in Sweden and see what happens here through Pinterest. So I took about 30 seconds of our clip, an audiogram. I put it on Pinterest and I run a paid media campaign to everyone in Sweden. And how I got to know where to go in Sweden is because I already had some organic feedback from her podcast. So I spent about a month and a half. It was a 3-month timeline, and I'll tell you the results. A month and a half, I said, hey, let's do a podcast episode so that we can promote your business, locally. Because she's like, she loves to meet people, she loves to have coffee. And yes, she has clients in the US, but she would love to have clients in Sweden. So I said, okay, I'm not there, but I can help you get to where you need to go. Lo and behold, we do an episode and I find 5 counties. I didn't even know, Sweden have counties. So I said, here are the 5 top counties that I see. I named them one by one. And she's like, oh, no, that's a good area. That's a bad area because I don't know the place. So her helping me out helped us to get to the bottom of the food chain or bottom of the problem. And the problem was people couldn't find her because they couldn't really see or understand what she was doing for her business. So we optimized her business website. We optimized that Pinterest account. That Pinterest account turned into a video that people started listening to. Lo and behold, she started getting earned media. I look at her account today. She's over 3.5K followers on LinkedIn. She has close to 1,000 subscribers on her LinkedIn newsletter. And she's for every post that she makes on her LinkedIn, she makes on average at least 10 reactions. So reactions are important too, because I was like, okay, how are we going to get these clients? How are we going to get these people? But I said, you know what, Pinterest is the way, because it's kind of like that underground tunnel that people don't go to, that you always find something along the way. So that's what we're able to do and fast track our process from being on Pinterest on a podcast to now being, on LinkedIn, where she actually is active, and now she's able to get her clients and she's able to have business. Why am I bringing Pinterest to you? Because if you have a business on Pinterest, you don't have to lift a finger, because Pinterest is so automatic that you can still enjoy Pinterest years on after. The shelf life of a pin, the shelf life of a pin is 3.5 months. We're going into July right now. I won't be surprised, and this happens between March and July. People on Pinterest start looking for Christmas tree ideas. So I know in July it's like Christmas. People say July is Christmas, right? It feels like Christmas. So in July, people are going to start looking for Christmas present ideas. People start searching for, gifts for their kids, for their families. Start planning for Christmas, right? Because people plan ahead. If you want to plan for a ticket, you plan ahead. So Pinterest is the best place to plan, because in Pinterest alone, right? Pinterest has a really wide audience. In the US alone, we're borderline about 93 million active users in the US alone, talk less of just what the world population is on Pinterest. Now, out of that 93 plus million, right? 47%, you can go check the stats and see. 47%, right? I would say 45. Let me benchmark it at 45. So 45% plus of active users who spend at least 14 minutes a day on Pinterest have a household income of over 100K annually. So if you have a business and your business is local and you have a Google business profile and you don't have a Pinterest account to connect with and you don't have a website to plug from, then there's going to be problems. So that way you can be able to really give out your content faster and help people. Now, I'll give you one example if you want to go on Pinterest. Now, before we get into any questions, I want to just give you guys a quick, a quick search so you can see this. There's saves and there's comments. The more comments you have, the better. The more saves you have, the better. How'd you get more saves, more comments? More content. How do you do more content? If I have 5 tips on how to start, looking for a house, that's 5 pins. That's one podcast a week. That's 5 weeks of content. I can break that into 30-second cycles. So don't just drop content because you want to drop it. Let it be digestive to the point where someone wants more. You got to tease them, right? So on Pinterest, I did a quick search, real estate, to see the highest number of comments. There are 38 comments on this pin. It's called perfectionhangover.com. And the alt text says, a woman standing in front of a building with the text, 5 habits of first year realtors who are crushing it. Now, this is the top pin about real estate Her name is Haley Weisberg. And it says 5 habits of first year real estate agents who are crushing it. Now, that's a commercial pin for me because that tells me if I'm looking for 5 first year real estate agents, I'm going to create a commercial article on my website to highlight the 5 people I'm connected with because I know in real estate, there are connections. So if I have a connection, I can make that connection through my website, commercially bring it to Pinterest, and let that person trust you because you're the one that brought that information. So there's so many ways I can dice it, but that's one way you can start. So before I go any further, I want to pass it back to you, Derek, to ask if there's any question to the room. And I hope you guys learned something. I hope it wasn't too much either.
This is awesome. I wrote down a few things. Sounds to me like, first of all, it sounds like more general content rather than like what people do on other platforms. You don't want to be posting like current listings or, I mean, maybe, but like current listings or that kind of stuff. You want to be more general and things that people save, like interior design ideas, black houses, even tips like how to sell my house. Like I went to Pinterest and typed in home, and the top, like the suggested ones, which would be probably the top things people are typing in there: home decor, home office, home interior design, home office ideas, blah blah blah. So you would probably want to do content around that. If you type in house and then kind of see what comes up, it's the same kind of thing: interior design, that kind of stuff. Um, if you type in real estate like you did, it seems to be, which makes sense, it's more stuff about like how to be a real estate agent and more professional stuff rather than like consumer facing stuff. So I would see Pinterest, you probably want to stay away from the term real estate because people typing in real estate are probably, well, it looks like from the little bit of research that I did, that's more stuff about how to be a real estate agent or stuff like that. But the people, the consumers, would be the, like Favor said, people looking for like interior design ideas and that kind of thing. um, I like the idea that it's evergreen. Things that you post, work that you do sticks around because it is a search platform. Then things that you do could be out there for when people search for that thing. Oh, this person has a post that applies to that, and it comes up. So it's not as time sensitive or expiring as quick as other social platforms, which is a thing I like about it. I'm on here on desktop, and the save button is huge, at least on desktop on my home page. Like every pin has a, as soon as you hover on it, there's this big giant save button. So clearly that's the goal that Pinterest wants you to do, is click on it or just save it. You don't even have to click on it. There's just a big save button right on the thing. And obviously you want to get saves to show up for more for other people, and then also so the people have you in their thing. Um, what else did I wrote something else down? Goals, saves, blah, 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 blah. More general. Yeah, I guess that was it. I had a question, then I did have a question. Um, so on my home page, I don't follow that many people. And so on my home is just like a bunch of suggested stuff. And they all seem to be, it's like eBay, Fiverr, Etsy. Lot, they're all seem to be commercial. There are a lot of sponsored ones on there, and we didn't even get into the paid stuff, but there's definitely sponsored stuff all over there. So if you ran ads, you'd be on people's homepage for sure. But do you know where this content comes from? If I don't follow a lot of people, I just get suggested crap that it kind of thinks I might like, you think?
Yeah. Before I even answer this, are you on a personal account or a business account?
I think personal.
Okay, how you can tell is if you're on the desktop, you see where your logo is at the top. Right next to it, you're going to see a down arrow. So when you hit that down arrow, it's going to tell you in gray, personal or business.
I'm personal. Should it be business? That's a good basic
Yeah,
question.
it needs to be business. And most times when we convert to business, sometimes some people don't want to mix business. Of course, you don't want to mix personal and business. But if you want to start afresh, I always suggest people to start up a Pinterest business account with their professional email address so that everything is just, professional from the jump. But if you want to convert it, you can still do that and update your contact settings on the back end if you'd like that too.
Gotcha. Did you say, sorry, I zoned out there for a second. Did you say you have to have a branded email address to have a business account? That's what
No,
you
you
said?
don't. It's just best practice to have a professional work email so that when you do get contacted by Pinterest or if something happens, then you have that business profile.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, yeah. And then obviously, I'm guessing to run ads, it would have to be on a business profile. That would be one main reason that you would switch it to business. Probably some other stuff too, but is that a requirement? Do you have to have a business account on Pinterest to run ads on
Oh
Pinterest?
yeah, totally. Because you can get analytics from personal Pinterest accounts, and with when you get into the business side of Pinterest, it changes completely. You get a home business, it's called a business hub, and you're able to do like marketing plans in there. You can do cost acquisition plans there. You can do some targeting even for your organic because there's a section that you can get to see the search volume of Pinterest searches, and it's done by humans, not by AI. They actually curate content based on keywords within their database because I work with staff at Pinterest. So they do have a dedicated team that actually focuses on those key phrases so that when people are searching on Pinterest, they're not really getting AI responses. They're getting human responses based on, consumer reports.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm seeing, I'm liking the paid side of it the most, I think. Because you're going to get people probably from all over the place because you can if you put like Carlisle houses for sale, nobody's going to Pinterest to look for Carlisle houses for sale, so that's kind of a waste of time. It's going to be hard to localize people, so it might be better just to run ads on that piece just so you're out when people go on Pinterest, because people do go on Pinterest when they're in market. Definitely, I mean, I don't know if men do, and maybe I'm generalizing here, but well, anyway, some people when they're in market, they're going to be on Pinterest. They're going to be making those, you know, kitchen ideas, bedroom ideas, those boards, and if you could be sitting there in their ads on their home screen when they pop up, and even better if Pinterest has a cookie, a pixel, whatever they call theirs, remarketing tag that you put on your website, you could also be retargeting people on Pinterest. So when they, if they see your ad on Facebook or they scan your sign and go to your website to look at your property, then when they go to their Pinterest to work on their kitchen ideas board, you would be in their face on Pinterest. And if you were retargeting on Facebook and Meta and Instagram, you'd be all over that. And on their Words with Friends and Wall Street Journal app and all that kind of stuff because they use that as an ad network too. So I'm kind of liking possibly the paid side of it maybe as opposed to the organic side. Um, do you think we are kind of at the end here, but well, I'll shut up. Anybody else have any other questions? Then I got one more question if nobody else does.
Doesn't it, when it doesn't have to be your pin, but when somebody pins, said, oh, so and so, liked your pin, it goes into your email, right? So you can actually see who did it, who pinned you, correct?
That's correct. Yes. Yeah. So anytime something happens, you get a reaction. Like as we were speaking in the room today, somebody liked my pin, and that pin, I think that was a year ago. I posted that pin. So you can literally get notifications 3 years later on someone saving your pin, and you're like, "What did I pin 3 years ago?" That's how it far back it goes. And when you start getting notifications like that, it's a signal that you are showing up and you're consistent in your business marketing.
This is Peggy. I have a question. What makes a most favorable type of pin? And maybe you've said it and I just am trying to process it all because I'm really not a user in posting pins. I'm more of a searchable, looking for collaborating a board on recipes or wedding stuff, but really focusing on real estate. When with Instagram, posts were great, then it was carousel posts and then reels, but then they're back to like posts that have some video in it or what adding a link. We couldn't add a link in Instagram, but in a pin, can you add a link? Is it a good idea to have a link? Could you give like an anatomy of a good post or pin rather?
Yes, thank you. That's a great question. All pins on Pinterest should have a destination link. All pins. And the reason why is because, like what Mia was saying, you do get response. And when you want to get full credit, you don't want to get 99% credit if you can get 100% credit. So that 100% credit is the link you put there in that picture, because every pin on Pinterest is clickable. Every video is clickable. So if the link behind that image has a resounding or robust, web page that is your page, then that page can really be a good page for people to connect with. So it just depends on what you do with that pin, because there's a section, like when you're about to create a pin, there's a little gray section that will tell you like guidelines. Like Pinterest even gives you like guidelines in plain sight, and they'll tell you this is the specific ratio, this is the number of pixels. Like they tell you everything. Like you need to have videos as low as, I think, 3 to 4 seconds. That's the shortest amount of video you can have. On TikTok it's 12 seconds. You can always test it. On TikTok there's a section that says creator search insights. I think that's what it says, creator search insights. And from there, you can get topics that you can bring back to Pinterest as ideas that you can bring into Pinterest as content. So if you have links in your pins, let's say you have 5 points, you should have 5 different assets, 5 images, 5 different colors, 5 different points for one link. So that's kind of like, 1 to the power of 5. And then there's something called keyword annotations on Pinterest that is so important. And what are keyword annotations? These are keywords that are generated by Pinterest. It's not generated by any other platform. So it's an API within their system that after they analyze the image that you post, that means the color, the font. Like think about it. If you use a Canva template and you scan that Canva template, you're going to see another person that used that same Canva template like you did, because Pixel will pick it out. So you also have to think about the originality of your pin, right? So if Pinterest scans your pin, then the related pin should not look like the same pin that you posted. Sometimes it could if you want to build affinity, but 9 times out of 10, you should have more original pins than, curated pins or generic pins. So they'll analyze your image, your pin title, your description, and definitely the website's content. That's where that relevance comes in. Because if you see a pin that's showing up on your feed that was posted 3 years ago, why is it showing up in a new year? Is because whoever had that specific page that they posted, they updated their content. They did a content upgrade. So that algorithm got sent to all the servers, and that allowed Pinterest to also recognize that there's new information in this link. That's why it was provided to you. So it's always good to pull keywords from your website and push them to Pinterest, then try to be on Pinterest and push it to your website.
Can I ask a follow-up question to that?
Yeah,
Okay, so when you're saying website, right? And I guess there's a difference between an added page to your website versus a blog post on your website. Would it be original then content if you did a blog post and you posted that as a pin, or would it be better to link them back to a page on your website, or are they both favorable ways? Because some people have websites where they do more blogging than they do adding pages, and the nuances of how to do some of these things on our own can get a little crazy. But is one better than another, or are they both good, but one is better than another?
that's a great question. Thank you for that. They're both good for each other, because the whole thing about, I would say this, between a social media site and a search engine database, there has to be a bridge connected. Just like when you first, let's say you just got a new property or a new building or a new office, and then you submit your Google profile, your business profile, you get an email, you get a what do they call it, like a letter in the mail with a code, right? That code is to verify your business. So they're talking to each other. That's a bridge connection Google has made with your business. So the same thing applied digitally is where when you make a post on your blog, let's say you have 5 blogs on your website, I should have, this is what I would do. This is what we do. Whenever we have one blog, we make sure we have at least 6 more content pieces to support that one blog. Because when you don't know what people like, you're always in testing mode. So if I have 5 blogs times 6, that means I should have 30 posts on Pinterest, which means for every blog, I should have at least 6 variations. It may sound like a lot, We do the heavy lifting for you and make sure that it's accurate to the search. But doing that is going to empower your visual media, because there are four types of media. There's owned media, paid media, shared media, and earned media. So when you do the blog post, that's owned media. When you share it to your email, that's shared media. When you now start getting responses, let's say a PR or magazine is trying to reach out to you, that's earned media. Then paid media is where you now run that owned media on a paid platform. So if you're able to put your own content and say, okay, out of these 6 posts I did, or out of these 6 pins, this did good, then I'll divide it into two. And I'll take those top 3 and run them as ads, find out the winner out of those 3, and then I have my champion. And I'm able to now double down and do a retargeting campaign. So Pinterest is a full funnel from top of funnel to bottom of funnel, but you need to connect your Pinterest tag manager on your website. You have to create your conversion events. You have to set it up so that the data you're getting back is responsive and accurate, so that you can respond back to it with good feedback for your consumers. Does that help?
I mean, it does. It still sounds a little bit higher level over my head. I'm trying to wrap my head around how to spend the best time with what I have done in different places to start making headway with Pinterest, or act with the best approach to getting started with it with what I have existing on my website and trying to tackle that. It's definitely motivating hearing everything that you're sharing. And I really, really loved how you broke down the Pinterest and interest in the very beginning when you were sort of helping us with that click rate. And it's really helped me start to really think about this differently than before. But I still have to figure out the best way to approach it, because I don't want to get lost in the analysis paralysis. I want to get focused on getting started with really good intention and a better outcome than just get stuff on there for the sake of getting stuff on there.
Yeah, you're right. I would say this: the best way to do that is find. I think let me put it this way: the best way to start is by picking the top performing posts across all your social media platforms, because when it surfaces on Pinterest, it's considered as new content. So even though you had that post 5 years ago, as soon as it lands on Pinterest, it's a new piece of content that's never been on there. So the best practice I would say is go online, go to your Instagram, your TikTok, any platform that you have content on that did really well, that can be put into a carousel format. Because even on Pinterest, you can do carousel, you can do quizzes, you can get leads, you can do so many things with paid media. So get all your best media formats out there, and then calculate and say, okay, here are my top 10, or here are my top 30, or my top 50 that I've done across, X number of years, and then bring them back into Pinterest, because Pinterest is a mood. Every board has a mood. If I go into the bakery aisle, that's a mood. If I go into the laundry aisle, that's a mood. So treat every board like an aisle, so that every aisle has a mood, and that mood can bring people in. They can be able to express themselves through reactions, through comments, through saving, and that's how you're able to now connect with the audience. Does that help you a little bit better, Peggy?
Yeah, the aisle and the mood was a much better organized visual for me to follow along. So thank you for that.
Here, Peggy, before I close it out, I'll give you maybe an example here of what you could do. So if I type in how to sell on Pinterest, like I'm searching for something, I'm a user, how to sell. The third one down is how to sell your house quickly. The third autocomplete down is how to sell your house quickly. That's even without me typing in house or home with it, just how to sell. So how to sell your house quickly, probably something people are searching for, probably the people that you would want to reach. So if you had a blog post about relating one tip about, or a bunch of tips, 5 ways to sell your house quickly, or staging your house, that would have to do with selling your house quickly. So all of those blog posts could be put in and then targeting kind of that keyword of how to sell your house quickly. Mechanically, when you go to create a pin, you have a spot to put your creative, your image or whatever, a title, a description, a link, a board, and you can create a new one if you don't already have one, and then topics, which are your tags basically, or no, yeah, tagged topics it says. So those are your tags. If you just type in under tags home or house, it then gives you, or it did, now this time it's not for some reason, but if you just type in house, now it is, it gives you, it says matched tags 20. So you probably, instead of wanting to create your own that nobody's looking for, match up with these tags in here. And if you just go in there and look at them, it kind of gives you an idea of the types of content that you would be putting on there to attract an audience. House cleaning tips, house exterior design, modern house exterior, tree house numbers, house architecture, house music, luxury house, lake house, Christmas house, dog house, blah, 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 home, yada, yada. So just looking at those keywords that auto populate and looking at the keywords or the auto search terms when you type in house or home, what is it saying people are searching for? Those would all be ways of figuring out what content to share. And then basically you would probably just, you'd go create a blog post about it, SEO optimized, blah, blah, blah. And then you would create a pin about it. The image obviously would relate to it, obviously, somehow. And then in the description, and then you would link out to that blog post. Does that help a little bit, maybe?
Yeah, how many tags is a good number of tags then? Because I don't even see like any recommendation or anything. Just, I could see how you're saying how many different versions of house, but what is a good number to kind of work with?
The number is 9. It's funny, it's an odd number, but the number is 9. And how I like to put it in a bucket is I look at the searches. That's why I always go into the search bracket to see. They usually, like what Pinterest does is that they give you ranges. They don't give you an exact match. They give you a range match. Because when people search on Pinterest, they search there are three ways of search, and I won't go too deep into it, but when you're just typing and using your content, just make sure that the same word that you're focusing on is repeated across where Derek was mentioning. There is an exact match, there is a phrase match, and there's a broad match. I won't go too deep into that, but technically what that means is that these three types of searches happen when the word that people are looking for is across all your assets from the link. Even the URL that you have needs to have that actual keyword that people are searching for in the search box. So it has to be to the point where even the file name of your picture has to have that keyword in there. So it's that rooted that you have to make sure that it's there. So when you're using the 9 tags, especially like on Pinterest, when you're using videos, it allows you to do about, I would say like 9, but if I have a max of 9, I'll leave room for one. If it tells me 10, then I'll leave room for one. So if it tells you 10, have 9. If it says 9, have 8. You just want to leave one spaced out because you also don't want to clog everything. So if you leave that one space, it's a tactical thing that we do. So when you leave that one space, that opens up a door for things that we didn't mention. So the algorithm can also pick into that space. So if we're talking about homes, and then we didn't talk about a doormat, or we didn't talk about a welcome sign, that could be something that Pinterest could find out of the responsive system that is going on within the place that you're targeting. So I'll say 9 is a good spot, but I would say keep it at 8. If 9 is a good spot, keep it at 8. And how you do that is you make sure that you drive those 8 into buckets of 4. So 2, 2, 2, 2, meaning that 2 keywords have to be within 1 to 10 million. Another 2 would be 1 to 5 million. Another one would be like 100,000 to 1 million. And then the other one would be like 10 to 100,000. When you do it like that, you're creating a bucket because you don't know who's going to fall in what bucket. And then we're able to detect what words to use within those buckets. So it gets a little technical, but that's where we're able to do the lifting for you. But 8 is a good number.
That is a weird, odd number to come up with. They probably had some reason for it, or maybe they were just in a meeting and like, let's make it 10. Nah, let's make it 8 or 9 and be weird about it. Any other questions? Quick, I do need to. I am volunteering at a Realtor Foundation golf event. That I have to leave for. So, but if anybody else has any burning questions, real quick, and you can always hit Favor up. I saw he put his link in the chat. So if you need to reach out to Favor or just reach out to me and I can connect you also. And he is probably going to be my website dude. I like Favor for websites because he thinks about SEO number one. A lot of website people think about SEO, but most website people are designers more than marketers. So they're going to make it pretty, but they don't put all the Pinterest remarketing tag and the Facebook meta pixel and the Google tag manager, and they don't put it on Google Search Console and think about all the next level stuff that every time I get a website, somebody says, I want to run Facebook ads or Google ads or something. And then I look at a website and it's got none of the marketing stuff that needs to be on there, which personally I would put on from the jump. So that's why I like Favor. He thinks about those things, and every website gets all the remarketing tags and retargeting tags so that you are set up for that. Not that you have to run ads right away, but if at some date you're like, well, I want to retarget people that come to my website, you can now do it, and you can go back in time too, up to about a year with most platforms. So you can reach out to Favor via his link in the chat, and you can also find Favor all over Pinterest, or yeah, Pinterest. Well, Pinterest too, but all over Clubhouse. He does tons of rooms on SEO and digital marketing and stuff, and on Chatter. He's on Chatter also. Who knows if that's going to turn into an actual thing, but some of us are already there claiming our digital real estate while we can in case it does turn into something. So I'll shut up. Favor, thanks for being here. Again, his link is in the chat if you need to reach out to him or reach out to me and I can connect you. I won't do my whole closeout. Thanks for being here. Give somebody a review, pay it forward. Hopefully you get it returned. And thanks everybody for being here. Any last things? I will, one last question if anybody has any burning thing. And it could be, I'll open it up for Pinterest or Google. Alrighty, cool. Five. We're gonna close it out in five, four, three, two, one. See you, everybody. Have a good week.